Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. The comp car's back. Rob finished working his magic.
Hello, good morning.
And now it's time to bring this thing to the shop, but it doesn't have an engine, so we're towing it with the K-van.
Let's go. The K-truck is almighty powerful. Thank you. You've gained a lot more pink bits, haven't you?
Oh, we've got a lot of pink bits to show you guys. This stuff is so cool.
Who wants more pink bits merch?
I do.
Oh.
Hey May, nice rack. Rob made us these custom tire racks. They look so good. I need a laser cutter in my life. Off she goes. And just like that, the car is pretty much naked now. Not a single sticker or any livery left on the car. And tomorrow morning, first thing, what we have to do is strip down the car and get it ready for paint and body. Finally, I'm painting the engine bay and tidying things up in here because this has been a disaster for a while. So that's gonna happen at the same time. The rear is getting painted. Unfortunately, I don't have a ton of time to repaint the interior. And I know you guys are gonna kill me for it once again. The orange cage, but hopefully we'll have more time next year to do that if the chassis doesn't meet its demise this year. I don't know, we'll see, but I promise you, I will make sure the interior gets painted finally, all right, for the next season. Please, 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 don't comment about the orange cage. I can't believe we forgot the sticker. It's the last one. Nice. There we go, now we're good. Oh, we're also gonna be painting this. I'm really excited. The hood's gonna be matching the engine bay. It's gonna be great. Oh. Seriously though, please don't comment anything about the orange cage. Please don't. How good is this, guys? That's the whole rear end of my car. Turn it around, Daiki. Look, like, well, that was the rear end of my car. But like, look at this. It's the whole rear end of an S15. And now look at this. So much room for activities in here. Like being able to do that in the pits and just take it off and like change a radiator, get to a pump, get to the fuel cell. Like, that's a game changer.
Wait, what happens though if you crash that onto the wall?
Well, you just get a new one. Look how easy that is. The whole rear end is off. Look at that.
It's good.
Really good. Super easy.
Yes.
Does it balance?
Maybe?
No, almost. I thought it was balancing on the jack point. Look at all this room we have access to. This changes everything. It makes it so much easier. Now I do have to, something I forgot to tell Daniel was to cut this out here because you can actually see the mark here where my tires touch under compression. So we want to cut this out a little closer here so it clearances everything for the tire and that's not going to touch anymore. So I'm going to cut that out before it goes to the paint and body, but otherwise everything else is great. I just realized I haven't even gone through all the pink bits and what Rob did for us. We didn't get a chance to film with Rob. He was very busy and had to leave right away. But all this stuff you see on the ground here is because of him and what Daniel have been doing up at his shop, Big D's, in Aomori, Misawa, Japan, all the way up north near that crazy cool base up there. But we've got a brand new spare subframe. This thing looks awesome, obviously powder coated pink. We've got the support up the top, the support in the front, and we've also got this support bar here. Now what's really cool about this is so far back that it actually doesn't hit anywhere in the body and stuff like that with the cutaway. So this means this is gonna reinforce it, stop it from cracking, and we should be good. My current subframe doesn't have this kind of crossover support, and that's probably why it's been cracking a ton. Moving along, we got 2 front bash bars ready to roll. We've got like a little rear bumper support thing that ties in with the fiberglass rear end. We've got 2 sets of crash bars for the rear end that tie into this bad boy. This thing should never really get damaged. It's designed so that this is what's getting damaged. And then this should always stay solid. For whatever reason, if this ever does get damaged though, it's pretty easy to replace, and it's already scanned and in Rob's database so that he can remake this and cut it out on a laser table or whatever we need. Also, we got a little toe hook here, but what I find funny about this, it's like you wanted the right ratio, but you got it around the wrong way. Like you kind of like hold this here, you kind of get the picture. But still, it's a cool rear end, and it means we're gonna have a lot of fun this year, I think, hitting walls. The whole idea of this rear end is that we can get into the wall without it disrupting the car, and also protect everything about the car, like the quarter panels and the rear quarters behind the quarter glass and stuff that would cause it to buckle or anything if it was a normal OEM chassis on an S15. And then Rob made this beautiful tire rack for us. It's obviously got our logo, numbers and everything in there. But this is awesome because it goes on the truck bed and gets strapped to the back of it at the front, and we can stack all of our competition tires and wheels on here. This is a game changer for us. And also at the events, being able to take this with us and just wheel it off the truck and then wheel everything backwards and forwards from the tire changer is gonna be a game changer. So these are awesome. And if you need any powder coating done in Japan, hit up Rob. Put his link down in the description. You guys know what you need to do. If you're in Japan, you want powder coating done or any of this stuff done for your competition car, he's super affordable, he does good work, and he has the biggest powder coating oven I've ever seen in Japan. Actually, like even just to get small stuff powder coated in Japan is a freaking mission and very hard. The only places that do it are crazy huge factories. They're very limited to colors, and you have to like do bulk orders through them before they'll even touch you. And that's just not practical when we want to do parts here and there for car stuff or a couple wheels here and there. Rob does it all, so hit him up.
A few moments later.
We've been pretty busy getting a bunch of stuff and little things done before it goes to the paint shop. Daikie's been an absolute trooper. Got the engine bay all stripped down, booster and everything. Oh, we got to take the gold tape off, Daikie. Yeah, we gotta take that off. I've got to de-pin the wiper plug and take out the kill switch, and then we can pull that through the firewall. But this is pretty much all ready now. Still kind of like umming and erring what color I should do the engine bay, because the engine bay will be a different color to the exterior of the car. I've honestly been thinking about keeping purple and just like a fresh new purple for the engine bay, and also, you know, where the fuel cell and everything sits in the back. I kind of like the purple, but I think like a brighter purple would look good, maybe. I don't know. I've gone through and been cleaning up and welding and plugging all the holes, all the extra holes that we don't need and all that stuff. Previously, I haven't really been able to do things nicely, I guess. And now that I've got a bit more fabrication experience and stuff like that, I really want to use nut certs and, you know, not use all the little kind of like self-tapper screws. And you can see like from its past life in Australia, this thing's had a rough life. Mind you, all this quarter panel damage, nothing to do with me. This is all from its previous life in Australia, and it used to be a competitive car in Australia at some point. So like all these quarter panels have been rebuilt. Like you can see all the damage in here. This is all gonna get worked on a little bit more. At some point, it may even be worth me just changing the whole quarter panels on these, and we may think about that if we have enough time next year. I wanna be like working on this thing the moment the season ends and completely stripping the thing down and redoing it. I wanna paint the whole interior. I wanna rebuild the trans tunnel and stuff and do a lot more work on this thing and, you know, put a pedal box in finally and stuff like that. We're still running OEM pedal box. It's not a negative thing or a bad thing like running OEM pedal box, especially with the Chase Bays dual piston master back that we use. But like, it would just be nicer to make this thing a little bit more professional, if that makes sense. There's just a lot of stuff on here that was done in a rush and not done properly. Like, I would even fix these if I had the time to today, but I don't. But like all these extra holes here, like there's a nutsert there, holes here, you know, like those could all be plugged up and fixed, but I'm not gonna do those. I did all the self-tapper holes. We're gonna drill and do nutserts for those because that's where we're gonna need it for the Yoshio kit. I patched up all the extra holes that were here. There was like 3 or 4 holes in these locations that just we never used from previous aero kits and stuff on the car. So I fixed all that, both sides, and this side is the worst with the side skirts. So there's like 3 holes here, 1 hole there, 3 holes there, another hole there, another hole there, 3 holes there, and then once again, the extra holes here from, I guess when this had a Rocket Bunny kit on it, I'm not sure, but yeah. And then once again, the quarter panels here had a hard life. But anyways, I'm gonna be switching as well out the OEM glass finally. We've already ordered some really nice like carbonate Perspex Lexan stuff with the clear coating stuff on it as well. So it should be really nice. We're replacing it with 4 mil thick stuff. And this is 5 mil OEM glass. It weighs a lot. So we'll be taking that out and losing a bunch of weight, taking the regulators and everything out because these are still stock doors, heavy stock doors. So being able to take those out should be fun. Same with this. So we'll get these out and we'll keep the moldings, and the moldings will get the Lexan put into it. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm gonna keep working on plugging these holes here. Then this is a common like WiseFab or angle kit, whatever angle kit you run. When you drill this hole here for being able to relocate where the shock pickup point is and stuff, you end up cracking this. This just always ends up cracking here. So I'm gonna clean that up, weld that up as well, and then clean that up, and that's all gonna be getting spray painted too, well, painted in the engine bay. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked. This is gonna be getting it too. I wish this could be done cleaner, but unfortunately I don't have time. Eventually we're gonna revisit a lot of this and it's gonna be quite nice, but for now, yeah, you can really see why I covered this with gold tape. I mean, it actually helped with keeping a lot of the heat out, so I'll probably do it again, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, you guys remember last year we had to fix this. This was a nightmare, but anyways, it's gonna be much better this year. I'm stoked. Damn, look at all the old paint just ripping up. And maybe purple again for the engine bay, hey? I don't know, we'll see. Little update, welded and plugged up all of those holes. We dropped the front suspension down and was able to weld up the crack there. And then same thing over here. It's all been welded up. So we're good there. And then this piece in the back here that the tire was hitting on, this piece, I was able to cut it out and then I put like a flatter piece in there and molded it in. That way giving us a lot more clearance there. It's kind of hard to see, but this piece, if I can figure this out, used to actually be roughly around like that far down. So we've been able to tuck it up like that. Should help a lot. Now we're ready to take this thing to the paint shop. Oh, I'm a little nervous, man. There's so much that has to be done in the next 4 weeks. That this car's gonna be fully running by then, with a new power plant, ton of new stuff. I'm really excited. I also love the fact that we can actually take out our fuel cell now. Before, we couldn't get it out. The way that it was mounted in there was no way to actually get it out of the car. Daniel made these mounts so we can actually just 3 bolts on each side, 6 bolts total, whole thing slides out. Before, we couldn't even get it out the way that it had been installed in the car. It was impossible to ever remove the fuel cell, which would have been a disaster if ever we had any problems. And we didn't know about it until Mesmer worked on it. So glad that's all sorted. So many parts to go through. I think I definitely want to upgrade our radiator and our fans because they're just stock Aristo fans, but they work. So I'm kind of like in 2 mindsets about it. Why change anything if it's already working, you know? Maybe just try and find a new set of them because I just feel like if ever we have any issues, it's super easy to find these fans. So maybe yeah. Anyways, you get what I'm saying. But yeah, this is the last time, I guess, for the whole next year, or maybe even after that, it's not going to be pink anymore. It's a little sad, but I'm also really excited. Time to say goodbye for at least 2 weeks. In that time, we'll have the motor built and everything ready, go straight in. It's been a few days, but I am here to check up on the car. Since we dropped it off, the guys have been crazy busy. Look at these fenders, man. My gosh, the rear quarters look awesome. There's so much that needed to be fixed here. There's only one way to fix this, which is just putty. But they pulled out so many dings and dents and got it smoothed out, sanded it all back. I can't get over that. That looks so much better now. The doors too. Can't wait to see what this thing's gonna look like when it's done. What a difference. Oh yeah, for sure. That's just what happens with pro drift cars. It's gonna look great. The guys are making quick work of it. Wow. This side too, man, it looks so good, yeah. It looks great. I can't wait. Jeez, did they do any work on the door here? Oh look, all the places I had to weld in and fill in all those screw holes. This car's gonna look so good when it's done. It's kind of a shame, isn't it? We make our cars look good to then just destroy them for a season and then rebuild them all over again. That's kind of what we do with the Missile and Matsuri cars too.
You're not the crazy one, you are.
Okay, true. Yeah. Looks good. They even put this line back in here. Oh well, it looks good. Dang, can't wait to see all this painted too. I can't believe how much they're going all out on the quarter panels, mainly because when we dropped it off, I was like, this all gets covered, so it doesn't need to look that great, but they are literally smoothing them out and making them look incredible. The guys spent the last 3 days making those look good, so definitely cool. I can't wait to see what the car's gonna look like. Fresh color, fresh paint. Thing's gonna look like a brand new car.
This is all happening fast.
It's happening really fast. Like, it's kind of stupid, actually, when you think about it. We have 4 weeks to have that car ready for testing, and we might end up having to test it during the Matsuri chaos. Because in 4 weeks, is it 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks? I don't know. Matsuri is going on too, and then right after that, the weekend after that is first round at Fuji Speedway. And it's not just like a normal round, they've combined FDJ2 with it too now, right? Yeah. And it's become this Fuji extreme weekend with a ton of the stuff like Toyota and Lexus are doing. It's like this whole crazy weekend event at Fuji. So it's kind of like all been combined. I think it's going to be cool, but still, it's also a little crazy that in 4.5 weeks, 5 weeks, the car has to be.
Hey! At least you're not doing every single engine stuff yourself.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
You have someone that knows what they're doing. You're not.
The end of this week, the motor's going to be built.
Yep.
And that then is going to be ready to drop in, and we've got to start getting everything connected. We've got a new transmission to go in. We've got so much stuff.
No, it's all coming together.
It's all coming together, thank God.
A few moments later.
We're back at the shop now, and I wanted to take this opportunity because I just talked about my new transmission, and this is what we're going to be running this year in the Comp Cup. Don't let the OS Gaiken logo fool you though, because we are once again going to be going with a G-Force. The reason why it came in this box is this is new old stock. Right now in Japan, if I wanted to get a G-Force brand new from the guys over there in the States, obviously with the exchange rate issues right now, it is absolutely crazy money, especially if you have yen in your bank account. So I reached out to a bunch of people, and it turned out that Keiji from Ion, where we tuned the Supra, he had one of these brand new in the box, unused, and it has also got all the RTS upgrades and stuff like that in it, and it's just sitting there. And he was like, yeah, I'll sell it to you what I paid for it like 5 years ago. So absolute steal. We now have another G-Force transmission, but what I'm really excited about this one is if we have a look here, this input shaft is the GM kind, all right? And it's much smaller. And we also have the extended shifter. So see these 3 bolts here, and then where the long shifter mechanism works out to be. Also, the ratios are a little nicer in this one, but if you look at my old one over here, you can see the bell housing that's on here is actually the stock Toyota Getrag one from the 6-speed and the Supra. So this guy here is actually really long, and we actually have to then run, I don't know if you can see it too well, but we have a really long input shaft in here. The input shaft is huge, it's long, it's the Supra Getrag one. I don't know how well you guys can see that, it's really dark, but there we go, now you can see it. But yeah, the input shaft kind of comes all the way out there, and this bell housing is, I don't know, it's really long. But you can also see that the shifter location is actually a lot further forward if you look at this bracket and where these 3 bolts are compared to the one we just looked at before, right? The overall length of the entire transmission from the front of the bell housing face to the end of the shifter is 90 centimeters. But I wanna actually measure this from where the drive shaft goes in, the propeller shaft. So 85 centimeters, right? Now, you okay, Dougie?
Okay.
The new bell housing that we're gonna be running with this is essentially a quick time bell housing, I believe they're called. RTS sells these as a kit with it. This all came with this. So we're gonna be running this with the internal slave. This bell housing, if I measure it from the face to the top, is only about 17 centimeters. When you compare it to the OEM Toyota one with the adapter plate and everything, it's a 10 centimeter difference. This is 27 centimeters long. That is 17 centimeters long, which then means that our overall length of our transmission is gonna be 10 centimeters shorter. That's a lot. This 10 centimeters means that my transmission will come out of the car so much easier. And the reason why this was such a problem for us is because this was so far forward that we couldn't undo these 4 bolts here. The best thing about a G-Force is just undo these 4 bolts, leave the housing up there, and the whole thing comes off, and you can then just swap another transmission in or rebuild the transmission in the pits in 30 minutes. We couldn't do that because the trans was so far back that when we'd pull it out, it would then contact and hit everything else on the body and the trans tunnel. Even though the trans tunnel has been modified, made bigger and everything, it was just too far back. That 10 centimeters made all the difference. All jokes aside, we're now gonna be fixing that. And that's the best thing about it. It means our drive shaft is gonna end up being a little bit longer, which is okay. Our shifter position will not change because this shifts it that little bit further back, no pun intended, so that it is still be in the same position. This was actually a full kit for an S15 with a 2J, and it came with everything brand new, a ton of spares, a ton of extra dog rings, a couple extra gears, everything brand new. So massive thank you to KG over at Ion for keeping this in stock for so long. And then also because we're using the GM style input shaft, which I think is like on the T56 or the 6060 or whatever it's called, there's a lot more options for clutches and some other cool stuff that we can use as well. But yeah, I'm really excited to actually be doing the proper G-Force setup in the comp car now, which is going to take away a ton of weird variables and weird issues that we've been having and kind of fighting with this entire time. So it's going to be good to just change all that, put a different drive shaft in there, have a spare drive shaft from the guys over at Drive Shaft Pro, and just have everything sorted. That's the main thing. So yeah, that's kind of it. So new transmission going in, not going sequential. A lot of people are always like, oh Sam, sequential is so much better, you can shift faster and all this stuff. Man, I can shift a G-Force just as fast as sequential. And if you need a sequential to make yourself faster, then you're gearing your car wrong. Like it's just, if you have a quick change diff, it just doesn't make sense to have a sequential, especially in drifting. And you'll see that across the board as well. A lot of cars in FD USA, a lot of people are taking out their sequentials and going to the G-Force because one, I guess it's more reliable, it's easy to rebuild, parts are more readily available, and they're strong and they really, I mean, I don't really see them break that often unless like they get hit with an impact or a big crash or something bad happens. But yeah, I love the product. We're using it again. Got a little bit of a shorter ratio set up in this box too, which should make it a little bit more interesting. All of that aside though, I'm excited to be running a G-Force in the car, my favorite transmission, and to have a good season with no issues. I really liked in the last video, you guys said I should have some kind of floor mat here with just the explosion on there so that you guys knew what was about to happen. But anyways, I apologize if this video is a little all over the place. Things are pretty hectic right now. Got 4 weeks to build a comp car and bouncing backwards and forwards and getting a ton of stuff done, but I know we're gonna get it done. Last year we did it in way less time and I built the engine myself. That was a whole thing. Anyways, thanks for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Go to SAMMIT.net right now. Place yourself, yes, that's how small the door is here. And that is my life in Japan pretty much every day. But yes, go to SAMMIT.net, place yourself some orders, support us here at SAMMIT HQ. Also, if you want to privately sponsor the FD car and have your name in the livery on the roof, then go check out the private sponsorship options and tiers on SAMMIT.net as well. Link is in the description. There's a ton of new merch, Supra hoodies and shirts, as well as the new crew necks, which is like kind of the stealthy, nice date wear, I call it. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the FD car. I'll see you in the next one.